Hello and welcome back to LUKE-N-SHAE'S place. So glad that you could stop by and join me. And I hope you're wearing your smile. I hope you've been staying blessed and just ready to get back into another video with me. So I have a banger video planned for you guys, and it is a part 2 from a video that I did previously this week, and you can check that out. It's about the white Afrikaners that are seeking refugee status here in America, and we have somebody that's going to debunk that. But before I begin and before we dive into that, let's go ahead, click that like button, put me in an algorithm so that other viewers can find this platform. Go ahead and comment in the comment section, put a heart, or just give some feedback and share. Why not share? Don't keep this good information to yourself, and go ahead and subscribe if you like the content that is being presented to you. Go ahead and subscribe. It's 100% free, and click that notification bell so that you get notified when we're posting and when we're going live. So let's go again. These refugees, right? Well, that's what President Trump is calling them, right? They're fleeing from genocide, and the farmers are being, the white farmers, I quote, in South Africa, he stated, is being mistreated over in South Africa. But I don't know if he doesn't realize that we can do our own research and get our own understanding. But that's exactly what we've been doing here in the United States of America. We've been getting understanding, and we have people from South Africa that have also been opening our eyes to some truths. And not only that, I'll also share with you an interview that one of the white South Afrikaners have done with the BBC News, and we'll check that out because it just doesn't go. But let's dive into this video. Let's get started, and let's get understanding of, and you know, come to your own conclusion. But we can all clearly come to the main conclusion that this is all a farce. This is not even true. And I don't know what Trump's agenda is, but to make up lies about why these people are coming here when you have other people that clearly need help, people who really need the refugee status here in America, and they're being denied and put on hold so that these people can come here. And for them, it looked more like a vacation. But let's dive into this and see what's going on.
As President Trump's cruel deportation campaign aimed at removing millions of immigrants from the United States wages on, the president is making an exception for one group, white South Africans. Unlike the Trump administration's treatment of immigrants immigrants, especially those from Latin America and our Afghan allies that he's kicking out of sometime soon, the president gave a warm welcome to dozens of white South Africans this week. He's also expediting refugee statuses for the group, which he says includes victims of racial discrimination. The move comes after his decision to freeze refugee admissions from other nations and cut off resettlement funding. So we have back with us former United States Ambassador to South Africa, Patrick Gaspar, is back with us to discuss. It's a bit mind-boggling how Donald Trump, of all the nations in the globe, all of the conflict, the famine, we have Afghanistan, where allies who worked for us, we aren't letting into the country, and they've been cleared and vetted. Yet South Africa, you were former ambassador there. Can you talk about what he is describing as persecution?
I will. I'll say a couple of things first. When I come on shows like this, I'm trained to kind of retain my anger. It's hard to do that on this on this issue. I'm absolutely furious. There are a number of things that are going on here. One, Trump is playing to a domestic U.S. fringe political audience, which I'll talk about in a second. There's a geopolitical impact because there's an attempt to punish South Africa for the posture that is taken internationally on the war in Gaza and its claims against.
Said it, normally he can hold his anger when he goes on different platforms and has to speak, but it's hard for him to hold his anger for this issue because he's calling it BS. It's not even real. It's not real. And to know that this is an ambassador, a former ambassador from South Africa who knows what goes on there. So to hear somebody saying, you know, that's like somebody, okay, saying something about your household, right? Think about your household and everything that goes in and on in your household. And then you have a neighbor, okay, with a whole newscast in their front yard pointing at your house and saying, yeah, they sell this out of their house, they do this. And you're looking like, wait, what? Oh yeah, I saw them dragging people out of the house, and you're looking like, wait, what house are they talking about? Because this doesn't go on here. This is how people in South Africa are looking at this because they live there and they know this is bull crap. And where did this administration get all this information? They pulled it out there, you know, bleep. We're just not going to say because it's not true. Okay, so let's listen to more.
Against Israel, and Trump is very clear about the need to punish South Africa in that regard. But there's a third thing that's happening. Donald Trump is the master of distraction, and he knows that while we're having this conversation, we're not talking about the prices that are going up for average Americans in Walmart, and he loves that. So in South Africa, there's a bill that was passed by the parliament in South Africa in order to right historic wrongs in the country.
And I just want you to take a look, and I know I showed it earlier, and I know you've been seeing it because it's been trending out here when the white South Africans arrived here and how they were welcomed. They were welcomed. Did you see the luggage and everything? And I'm not saying people don't have belongings and things when they come to a different country, but most of the time when we're showed someone coming here and we see it on the news, it's usually the clothes on their back because they were actually fleeing from something. They just left everything behind and said, you know what, I need to get out of here. They might have a backpack because that's the lightest thing that they could carry or whatever the case might be. But these people look to me, they look like they're going on a vacation. And that's what it looks like, all smiles. I don't see anything, even with their facial expressions or anything where it's like, oh my goodness, we're fleeing from something so harsh. And it was more of an invitation. Can you come here? And that's what it looks like, and that's what it is. We're calling it bluff, but let's go.
1913 and then again in 1950, a set of laws were passed that restricted the ability of blacks in South Africa to own land. It made sure that whites that were then less than 10% of the population, now less than 8% of the population, controlled 93% of the land in South Africa in 1913, about 75% of it from the 1950s onwards. And right now, today, even though white South Africans comprise, again, less than 8% of the population, they control more than 65% of the private land that exists in the country. So a law was passed to try to make some determinations about how to better allocate resources in the country. But it's very similar to laws that were passed in this country, like under the Fifth Amendment here.
So again, this former ambassador is also saying what I've been seeing, and I read in articles, and I actually shared it on a the part one of this. Even the white South Africaners in South Africa, even though they don't make up the majority of the population in South Africa, but they're owning like close to 70% of the land, 65%, 70% of the land. Okay, so yeah, they're still more fortunate than the black South Africans there, you know. So I'm just like, okay, where's the struggle? And again, please go in my previous video. You'll see a video where I posted that was part of this whole thing. But there's a whole country within the country of South Africa where it's whites only. And they basically have their own money, they have their own citizenship to even get into this. And so, you know, just look it up, because those people are living like everything's just great. They love it there. The one guy said he would never want to leave. He couldn't think of living anywhere else. So keep that in mind. Okay, let's go.
Here, we have the right of eminent domain that the nation can impose in times of national security. It's the same sort of law in South Africa. But there is no way that land is being seized from white South Africans without compensation, without due process. It's just not happening. It is a fiction from Donald Trump, from Elon Musk, and so many of their friends in the fringe right like Tucker Carlson. So now you have a president who is overturning the long-term asylum procedures that we have here in the U.S. for people who are fleeing violence, real political violence from countries like Afghanistan, but he's throwing it open to a group of people who are political pawns right now, Afrikaners from South Africa who may or may not feel physically threatened in some way.
What he just said was so true. You have a president that's turning away people who actually need help, people who are actually running and fleeing from something that they're actually afraid of. Whatever it is that they're running from, they're actually running from something that would be defined as someone who is actually seeking refuge. These people, that's not the definition of what they are coming here for. It's a slap in the face, and it's a darn shame. It's a damn shame is what it is. It's a damn shame that this is going on. And listen, a lot of people, again, will say, oh, don't make it about color. But no, it looks like you guys are just inviting I don't know if this is Elon. Is this his kinfolk? I don't know. But you guys are just bringing, from what some people are saying, you're bringing in more Kevins and Karens. Because if the place in South Africa that has all this farmers doing great and everything, the white farmers, and they have their own community, a whole country within a country. Why couldn't they take those people if they were fleeing from something? It just doesn't go right. It doesn't sound right. I feel like you're giving us the worst of the worst, basically, because some people have said that we're getting their Kevins and Karens, and if they weren't wanted there, probably. So yeah, if you weren't welcome there, why weren't you welcome there? Because nobody's saying that this was a true statement at all. Trump is just making up things, and we're all supposed to just believe what comes out of his mouth. I don't think he believes that we can actually look this stuff up or get understanding, but let's go.
But if you follow the data in South Africa, whites comprise 2% of victims of murder and violent crime.
Of the crime that he's describing on these farms.
2% of the crime in the country targets these white farmers. It is an obscene thing to say.
Ambassador, I would pick up on something you said in response to at least that the three things that are happening here. You said one of them is that the president is playing to a domestic U.S. audience. I want to read something from Callie Holloway that she wrote in The Nation on Friday, the real reason those white South Africans are here. I'm going to quote her. To be clear, white South Africans, and this really cannot be reiterated enough, are not being persecuted. The red carpet is being rolled out for them slowly and deliberately, I might add, as a political signal, considered a statement of allegiance to whiteness, a full-throated declaration of where and with whom this administration's priorities lie. If you are of a certain age, you remember the anti-apartheid demonstrations that were happening all over the country, and particularly on college campuses, and to see, here we are, several decades hence, that Afrikaners are being given refugee status and being brought here to the United States. We knew exactly the signal that President Trump was sending when he did that.
Absolutely, Jonathan. You and I are old enough to have participated in those demonstrations, right? So the first time I ever went to South Africa was 1991. And I got to observe Nelson Mandela's vision for a rainbow nation. I lived 3.5 years in South Africa as ambassador, and I've seen white and black South Africans and colored South Africans working every single day towards the affirmation of that vision. I talk to my white South African friends all the time, and they think it's bizarre that this is occurring now. They can't recognize their country that's being described by Donald Trump. I will say that white supremacy has never lived in isolation. It has always and ever thus will be a global phenomena. And there is a conversation that's taking place from the United States to South Africa to Australia to in Europe with fringe neo-Nazi adjacent groups like AfriForum that are promoting this notion of a white genocide. It is really instructive to see the President of the United States who is denying the plight, the struggle of Palestinians in this moment who are under siege. It's interesting to hear him use the word genocide when he's talking about a people who represent 7% of a population, have like 70% of the land, have 65% of the senior.
Listen to all that he's saying. And he just listening to this, man, this is crazy. And he's saying that, when he went there and he was an ambassador there, and white people there, black people there were working together, and they were it was peaceful the way they were trying to, come on. And he said, even talking to his white friends there in South Africa, they're basically laughing. I don't even think they're laughing. They're frowning upon what Trump is saying because they don't have that happening. Like I said, imagine somebody coming into your house or doing a report on your household, and you're looking like, what are they talking about? Look, I can invite you here. You can see this is not what's going on in my home. Well, that's what the Trump administration is doing with South Africa. So what you're doing, and I don't like that either, because when you think about that, nobody wants a bad reputation. Nobody wants somebody talking bad about their home, and think about that, their country, if that stuff is not going on. So what are you creating with that? What are you getting from that? By spreading lies about a place you're not even in, first of all. Second of all, the majority speak. So the people that are living there are speaking out, and it's not just black faces that are speaking out. There's white faces speaking out saying, you're bluffing. You're just blowing smoke, sir. What's coming out of your mouth is lies. But, you have people out here that believe everything that comes out of his mouth. But, okay. Make America great again. We clearly see what it was, and we said this years ago. It's basically make America white again. Not that it ever was, but that's what he's basically going to do. But what he's trying to do, what it seems like, because when I say that, it's like, yeah, I can actually say that because it was actually. We'll get into that in other podcasts and with some more history, but let's dig into this because this guy's telling truth, and let's go.
Senior management jobs in South Africa, and whose unemployment ratio is like 1/20th of the unemployment ratio of blacks in South Africa. This is deliberate. It is signaling to his fringe MAGA cohort here in the U.S. And sending a wide signal to those who are neo-Nazi adjacent in other parts of the world.
Okay, so there you have it, coming from the former ambassador from South Africa. He basically just told us some truths and what he's witnessed there in South Africa, and it's nothing that we've been hearing coming out of Trump's administration's mouth. So let's dive into some more. I have another video lined up for you guys. Let's check that out. Let's look at the interview that one of the white South Afrikaners had with the BBC News. Let's check that out right now.
I've been to the house, my car behind, my dog's behind, my mother behind, car behind, my dog's behind, my mother behind.
There are voices out there, including the South African president, who has called you cowards.
Yeah.
You've got other Afrikaners who are saying that you're not refugees, you're opportunists, that you've abandoned.
I want you guys to notice that he said, I had to leave my house behind, 5-bedroom house behind, his dogs behind, his car behind, his mother behind. Now, aside from your 5-bedroom house, I don't know, listen, you got a 5-bedroom house, bless your heart, because I don't know what they're going to give him when he comes here, because there's people who are barely making it in a 1-bedroom apartment, let alone you talking about a house. There's some people out here, a lot of people out here, and I'll share another video with you so that we can get understanding about what's really going on here, the country that they're fleeing to, and how Americans are actually living here. But he left his 5-bedroom house, his car, and I know in Africa, some Africans have been saying, if you have a car in Africa, well, you're doing pretty good if you can afford to have a car. But this guy, he has a 5-bedroom house. But my concern is your mother. If you're fleeing from something that's so bad, why are you leaving mom behind? Wouldn't she be right alongside of you? That I would think it can't be that bad if you left mom behind. You left mom to deal with this genocide. You left mom back there with this going on. It just doesn't go. It doesn't go. But let's hear more.
Abandon the country. What would you say to those people?
I had to leave a 5-bedroom house, which I will.
What would you say to those people?
I had to leave.
What would you say to those people?
I had to leave a 5-bedroom house, which I will lose now because I'm not going to pay for it. My car behind, my dogs behind, my mother behind. I didn't come here for fun, but my children are safe. If you're white, you're wrong in South Africa. You're a land thief, you are a racist. I had nothing to do with apartheid. Nothing, nothing, nothing.
What was it like when you were greeted by the Trump administration?
It was overwhelming. I didn't expect that because I thought we're going to be in a shuttle bus, taken somewhere, and we must start working. All of us that is there, we know we're going to start here from the bottom because we are the new people here. We're going to start from the bottom. I had to leave a 5-bedroom house, my car behind, my dogs behind, my mother behind.
There are voices out there, including the South African president, who has called you cowards.
Yeah.
You've got other Afrikaners who are saying that you're not refugees, you're opportunists, that you've abandoned the country. What would you say to those people?
I had to leave a 5-bedroom house, which I will lose now because I'm not going to pay for it. My car behind, my dogs behind, my mother behind. I didn't come here for fun, but my children are safe. If you're white, you're wrong in South Africa. You're a land thief, you are a racist. I had nothing to do with apartheid. Nothing, nothing, nothing.
So another profound thing that came out of his mouth is not just leaving his house behind, but he said, I'm going to lose that because I'm not going to pay for it. He didn't say, okay, I'm going to lose my house because, they're taking our land. I'm a farmer. They're taking our land, whatever. He's here in America. So he's just saying, hey, I'm here. So I'm going to lose that house because I'm not going to pay for it. Duh. You're here. You're not going to pay for it. You just wiped his hands of it. Hey, so you're not going to pay for it. But that doesn't mean, and you did not say, somebody who was threatened, their land's threatened, you're going to say, well, I lost my 5-bedroom house because they're taking my land. That's not what you said. You didn't say that. And you left the dogs in the car and you left mom behind. Forget the 5-bedroom, you left mom behind. That does not tell me, and hopefully it doesn't tell you, that this person is fleeing because something so bad is happening there. Something so bad is happening. And again, just listening to his interview, there's another one I'm going to try to find for you guys, because someone from South Africa actually posted a video. It was a woman who posted a video of another white South Afrikaner who was saying in his little interview, yeah, I was a farmer and I'm losing my land there in South Africa. And they asked him, what did you farm? What kind of farming did you do there? He was given a description of that. Well, she went and did research on her end there in South Africa. And she said she would constantly try to update us here in America when she gets more information on her end about the people that we now have here. But one of the guys in his interview, and again, I'll get more information about that and share that with you guys, but he was saying how he's losing his farm and everything. She looked into it, pulled up his information there in South Africa. He was some kind of IT guy, tech. He had some kind of company that basically went out of business there in South Africa. He was not a farmer. What he's telling us here in America, or whatever the Trump administration, but they believed everything, right? He lost his company, him and his whatever family that ran this company, IT, whatever. And he said in his interview here, yeah, I lost my farm there, so maybe here in America, do some farming, or even I'm interested in IT, Of course you're interested in IT because that's what you were doing there, but it backfired, so now you're here, okay. And they'll probably give him that. He'll probably get his desires here, right? Because he's wearing the right skin color. So yeah, he'll probably get that, but don't falsify things, right? And the American people are thinking these are all farmers. No, some of these people lost their businesses. And something, we have that already going on here in America. There's people losing their businesses and their livelihood because of the cost of living. You're bringing people over here out of the country who's having those issues, but that's not some issues that you be seeking refuge for. Those are not issues. Those are everyday life issues, bankruptcies and things. People go through that. That's not something to then just abandon your country and go to another country like someone's harming you in some way. I'm sorry. We go through that here. Okay, people lose their businesses here. But this is the kind of stuff that they're doing, and why are they here? And people who actually need help are being told that they cannot come here now. But okay, I got another video set aside for you guys. We're going to check that out. We just talked about it a little bit. We here in America, we already have people struggling, and let's just take a look at how that looks in real life. Let's look at that.
Creative ways to try to keep a roof over their head. Some people are even looking at storage units. Check this out.
I've been living in my car. Now I'm living in a storage unit. I'm trying to get an apartment, but can't right now. I'm at the storage unit, finna get me a storage today. I'm feeling mighty proud of myself today, you see the building right here. I ain't gonna really show everything, but yeah. I'm looking for the smallest storage unit. How much is small? Just got the storage unit. I think I can put my thought I would have a bigger one, but I think I can put my bed right here or whatever. Man. Got all my stuff in. Gotta get some. I lift this up when I get hot.
I'm homeless by choice because I got tired of spending all my money on rent and I need to save some money. If you're new here, I keep most of my stuff at this storage unit, but I also have an office where I have access to Wi-Fi, a refrigerator, and pretty much everything else I need 24/7. I have 2 jobs and I also sleep at work, so that definitely helps. Keep in mind, the office and work are 2 different places. Now, I am really active in my comments, and I noticed that a lot of moms were saying if they didn't have kids, they would be doing the same thing. And I definitely understand. For years, I just felt like it had to be a better way. I did not want to work, go home, take care of the kids, barely sleep, and still have to pay all these bills. My kids are older, so it worked out to where I was finally able to put myself in a situation. So although I sleep at work, I rented this office because I just don't want to be in one spot all day. We have offices starting at $300, so it's nowhere near as much as I would be paying for rent. Whenever I do come here, I have 24-hour access. I can use the bathroom. We have a microwave, refrigerator, Wi-Fi, and everything else I need.
Hello, good morning. Can you keep your door open?
Yeah.
Okay, because we can't have it closed like that. It has to be open, wide open at all times.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Everything okay?
Everything good?
Okay, yeah. If you don't mind opening it, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay.
Have a good day.
I don't care who you voted for, what color your skin is. If you live here in the United States of America and this is not bothering you, I don't know what to tell you. It's not apparently bothering the administration that we have, because you're going to go get this man. I don't know the story of all the white Afrikaners that came here, but you're going to take this man from, he left from his 5-bedroom house. Okay. I'm looking at people living in storage units because they can't afford the cost of living here. Okay. This is not people from other countries, the ones that really need help, that we're telling, hey, sorry, I know you've been waiting to come here, but sorry, we got some other people that we're putting ahead of you because we have this other agenda. But you have people here that need help. You have people here seeking help, and they are willing to just live in storage units and whatever else, wherever else they're living, and just because the cost of living is too much, and they figure, I'd rather do this because I can't afford apartments, I can't afford a house, so I have to figure out something, because every day I'm still gonna have to eat, whether these people are still working. I'm hearing them work, but they can't afford to live in this country. We can't afford it. Everything's too expensive. And if this doesn't bother you, then that's a problem, and it's a shame. It's not bothering Trump and his administration. While he flies his new plane that he was given, while he's enjoying that and life and golfing, there's people here that are actually in storage units because they don't have somewhere to sleep. Okay, while those people came over here on their vacation, whatever they're seeking here was definitely not refuge from anything that was happening bad to them. But we need to open our eyes. Let's hear more of what this woman is trying to show us with these people who are struggling here, right here in our own country. But let's go.
You too. Man, I had to bring him here. I ain't want to do it, but I mean, he chilling, man. This is what we at for the night. We in the unit. You know what I'm saying? Shelter, he be tripping, man. His behavior, he on a bunch of weird people there. He don't like it. But here, he got his own world. He got a TV, he got a bed. He chilling. He got a moat. You know what I'm saying? We gonna thug it out. We gonna slide out in the morning, do what we do. Ain't that right, boy? We gonna do what we do, ain't it? Huh?
So life update. I'm living in my car. My little S10. This is me. Stay home for the foreseeable future. And yeah, I don't know what to do. And I don't really have anyone. I toured 2 apartments yesterday. I won't qualify for them because you have to make 2.5 times the over $1,200 rent a month. And I don't even make the rent a month. I've never been homeless before. But you know what? This is a really good story. Like, I can only go, I mean, I could go down, but like, I'm gonna go up from here. Cause then, like, I'm broken homeless at 21. But like, that makes for such a good story. When I'm like super successful and rich and like doing so well and have so many people. I'm gonna have such a bomb starter story. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be like, I was broken homeless at 21. And look where I am now. Boom. And it's
wow. 21 years old. So many other things that this 21-year-old could be doing with her life, but she's worried about where she's going to lay her head, and she has nowhere to lay her head because the cost of rent is too expensive, and they're asking for 2 times the salary of the rent, and she can't afford that, and she's not even making enough to even cover the rent. At 21, when you think about that, how a lot of us couldn't wait to be 21, right? Oh wow, I can't wait till I'm 21. That makes you legal in our country. And to get to 21 to then be homeless, this is sad. And I think of that as a mother, like, and think about people her age, maybe still in college and once upon a time and enjoying that whole coming into your adulthood and maybe trying your first sip of wine or whatever the case might be, but not this, in a car. And she's being, you know, as she's telling this, you know, she's being giddy about it, but she's fighting her tears. And she's like, wow, this is going to be some story that, you know, when I turned 21, you know, basically I was homeless. This is what's going on in our country. This is real talk. These people look like me, okay, in the storage unit. And these people also look like you with white skin. There's no color to struggle. There's no color to needing help, okay? That comes in all shades. And we can't even deny that. So for anybody, any ignorance out here, and we want to look at this administration like, oh, we're making America great again. This is great, everyone. This is what's great. This is the great we were making it. Because I remember saying this back at the first time when he was in office, right? And I remember being at church. I was at a mixed church, actually. I was actually I can think of it, my family were the only, you know, black family in the church. But I remember being at a women's meeting at the church, and I remember a woman telling a story at my church, and she said, you know, my mother, you know, we were going to this certain place, and I told her, hey, I don't know, you know, my mom was saying she didn't know she wanted to wear this MAGA hat because, they might get us, right? And me being the only black woman at that table that morning, I looked and I knew who they were. They were the people that looked like me. And her mother was scared to wear her MAGA hat because she felt like, oh, that's going to offend some people that look like me, right? Oh, they might do something to me if I wear this hat, you know. So I remember that, and the woman, rest in peace, because she passed away, but I remember her saying that, you know, I told my mom to wear her hat proud, you know. And as I sat there, the only black face at that woman's breakfast at my church, at the time, I no longer attend. I moved away, and I no longer attend. But my thing is, I remember the women at the table, and even the pastor's wife, and they were just all started saying, "Make America Great Again." But what that meant to them, that didn't mean the same thing for me. Because when I heard, the first time I heard "Make America Great Again," it took me back to a time that I didn't even live in. Okay? In my mind, I saw the hoses in the street spraying people that looked like me because they tried to peacefully march for justice and for rights. That's what it meant to me. And you know something? As I shared this with my friends who don't have the same shade of skin as me, and I told them how this made me feel, my white friends at that time. And I said, you know, this made me feel like uncomfortable hearing this, you know. And I sometimes would post things like, okay, how could we say that we love Christ and then we treat people this way, where we overlook what this man is truly meaning when he says "Make America Great Again." And you know what I got from that conversation? I lost a friendship. I lost a friendship because people were thinking, oh, well, oh, you're calling my family a racist because we support Trump. That's not at all what I was doing. You can support whoever you want to support. But for me to have an opinion was offending someone. As a black woman, I had to keep my mouth shut. Because if you open your mouth, if you dare open your mouth, I can't be friends with you because I support him. And it was to the point that it's more like a cult. If you're going to lose your friendships over this man who you clearly see is just causing more division than he is anything, then I really don't know what to say. But you know what? I'm glad because that opened my eyes to truths and who people really are. But when I hear "Make America Great Again" and I see this happening, and this is our country, this is America, I see this happening and I don't see any great in it. What is so great about it? What is so great about it? People were so quick to end friendships. How dare you? I mean, so many people that I know that, oh my goodness, my friends were deleting me because, you know, I didn't go jump on the Trump train. And there's people in our country, even myself, where we thought, okay, well, maybe we should vote because for this person, because, okay, there was so many things being pushed on our kids, you know, so many things that they were trying to push in schools that I don't even think kids should be pushed in. You should not be trying to transform a child's mind into a certain agenda. So a lot of us were looking at it that way. Okay, Sodom and Gomorrah, read your Bible. There was a lot of us thinking about that specific reason. But not all this. Not all this. But yeah, what does it really mean to you? Put that in the comments. What does he mean when he says "Make America Great Again"? What does that mean to you? Is this what it means to you?
It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be like, wow, go you. I just gotta make it through this part. But this part like builds resilience, character, all that shit. I'm gonna be so funny after this. I'm gonna have such a good personality. I'm gonna be equipped with so many skills. I'm gonna be so smart, crafty, nifty, and cool and funny. And it's gonna be so good. I just gotta make it through this part. Just checking in, I guess. I mean, I hope they
I'm broke, I'm 18 years old, and I live in this small little vehicle. Today, we were finally able to get the front seat out. One of my coworkers at Jack in the Box ended up taking it out for me, and I'm so thankful because I could not do it on my own. And of course, I wanted to record for you guys the whole process of taking a whole seat out, but I was embarrassed to ask him if I could record him, and I also don't want anybody from work knowing that I do TikTok. Anyways, after taking the seat out of the vehicle, I cannot believe how spacious it looks. I know a Fiat is a very small vehicle, but it literally feels like a small RV, and taking out the seat just made my life way easier. I don't have to be hopping or jumping to the front seat to get things. I love it. I think I'm gonna get like small little cabinets from Walmart so I can organize my clothes. Somebody asked me where I park, and I do park outside a coworker's house. I give her $50. She allows me to use her electricity, but my car isn't running and I need something.
More and more people are really struggling here in the United States to put a roof over their head. A lot of people are not able to qualify for apartments or purchase homes. They're having a hard time. They are becoming homeless. And a lot of people are even finding more creative ways to try and keep a roof over their head. Some people are even looking at storage units. Check this out.
Been living in
If that doesn't pull on your heartstrings, then I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. I really don't, because this is what's going on here. This is true stories of people who need help. These right here are true stories of people who actually need help right here in our country. Well, that's the videos for you guys that I had planned, and like I said, right here in our own country, those are some issues that we're dealing with, and it's a shame. It's young adults. And the last person in the story, the 18-year-old, how sad is that? And I don't know where anybody's family is when I see these young women out here. As if that's not scary all in itself, you know, being a young woman out there homeless, basically. Both of them working, but living in their vehicles. And you have the people that are living in storage units, and, you know, it's sad. And the man with his child saying, you know, I can't go to a shelter because there's weird people there. I don't want to bring my child. But it looked like he tried to make it as homely as possible, but let's face it, it's a storage unit. This is what's going on here. And again, you have the South Afrikaners, the white South Afrikaners, and you had earlier we looked at the ambassador, the former ambassador from South Africa, who debunked that whole notion that there's any of that came out of Trump's mouth, any of that happening. So we have to actually just realize what the truth is, everyone. We can't believe these lies, and whatever these people are here for, it's definitely not what Trump is saying they're here for. And who knows? I did hear that was the first batch, so who knows how many he's actually trying to bring here. You know, it's crazy between him and Elon Musk and the things that's coming out their mouth, and anybody in that administration. It's just, again, it looks more like a cult to me, and they're just doing things that's for them. Just doing things on a fly, and just doing things just for their own narrative. But it's not for the betterment of the people that are here. That's not the betterment of the country at all. It's not. You know, you have people that are struggling, and it brought me to tears seeing these people talk about, these young women talk about the men. Just, you can't afford things. And you have, again, these apartments looking for 2 times or 3 times who's making that? Who's making that? What average person's making that much right now to where they can afford it with the prices that have gone up for a 1-bedroom apartment? Some people are asking, depending on your state, they want $2,000 some plus dollars for a 1-bedroom, or studios are just skyrocketed prices. Come on now. Let's open our eyes. The food prices. But that's going to wrap up the video, guys. I do appreciate you stopping by, checking me out here. I hope you're wearing your smile. I hope you're staying positive. A positive mentality is a destined reality. And at the end of the day, by all means, stay safe out here and stay blessed. Until next time, take care.